There is this weird phase almost every beginner goes through when learning DSA. You study something, you solve a couple of problems, you feel a bit confident, and the next morning it is like your brain formatted itself overnight. Arrays gone. Binary search suddenly feels alien. Trees, you remember the word, but not the logic. And the worst part is the guilt. The feeling of, why am I like this? You start believing maybe you are not meant for this. Maybe others are genuinely smarter. Maybe you don't have the developer brain, and trust me, I used to think the same. But here is the truth no one told me early on. Forgetting DSA is not a bug in your brain, it's a part of the process. It's supposed to happen, and if you understand why, it becomes a lot easier to deal with. See, the problem is not that you forget. The problem is that you think you are supposed to remember everything permanently after learning it once. School trained us like that. Learn the chapter, memorize the formula, vomit it in the exam. Done. But DSA is not school. DSA is a skill, and skills don't stay unless you use them constantly. You don't learn to drive a car in one day and then expect to be an expert 3 months later without touching the steering wheel again. But with DSA, we have this strange expectation that if we solved binary search last week, we should magically know it forever. That's not how the brain works, and beating yourself up for forgetting is the biggest reason people quit halfway. The real truth, the part nobody tells you, is that DSA only sticks once you solve so many problems that forgetting becomes impossible. Before that point, you will forget. Everyone forgets. I forgot. People with 5 years of experience forget. People cracking Mang rolls forget. What makes them different is not that they never forget, but that they have solved so many variations that the logic becomes second nature. It stops being a trick and starts being a pattern your brain recognizes automatically. But to reach that level, there is a frustrating middle part where you keep forgetting. That's the actual test. Another thing nobody says out loud, you're too focused on remembering solutions instead of understanding patterns. Most beginners treat DSA like memorizing recipes. For two sum, do this. For binary search, do this. For sliding window, do this. And because you are memorizing, you forget. But once you start asking yourself, why does this work? Instead of what should I write, the entire thing changes. Suddenly, you are not remembering a solution, you are understanding a behavior. You are understanding why binary search always uses mid, why two pointers move in a certain direction, why dynamic programming needs overlapping sub problems. Once you get the why, your brain stops forgetting so easily, not because you are suddenly smarter, but because the concept now has a place in your mind instead of floating around. And I'll be real with you, most students jump too fast. They learn a topic today and expect themselves to solve medium problems tomorrow. And when they can't, they assume it is because they forgot. But the truth is, you didn't even give your brain enough time to get comfortable. When you first try two pointers or sliding window or DFS, it feels like someone gave you a toolbox and asked you to repair a rocket engine. Of course, the first attempt will feel confusing. That's not forgetting. That's not enough repetition. But since nobody tells you this, you think you are the only one struggling. There is another uncomfortable truth. You are studying DSA in too long gaps. You do it for 3 days, skip 5. Do it on the weekend, skip the weekdays. Do it for 2 weeks, stop for 1 month. Your brain does not work like a hard drive, it works like a muscle. If you don't train it consistently, it gets weaker. You know what actually fixes DSA retention? Not studying harder, but studying daily, even if it's for short. 20 minutes of problems every day beats 5 hours once a week. Not because 20 minutes is magical, but because your brain registers it as an active skill instead of a random subject. But again, people won't tell you this. Everyone says grind hard, but nobody says grind daily, even if it is in small amounts. And here is the part that stings. A lot of people keep switching topics the moment things get uncomfortable. Hash maps feel confusing, switch to recursion. Recursion gets weird, switch to backtracking. Backtracking hurts your brain, switch to trees. The result? You touch everything, master nothing, and forget everything. It's not your brain's fault, it's your strategy. If you stick with a topic long enough to get bored of it, that's when it actually sticks. But most of us move away at the first sign of discomfort and then blame memory. Let me tell you something from experience. The moment DSA truly clicked for me was not when I read a solution or watched a tutorial. It was when I revisited the same concept for the fifth or sixth time and suddenly realized, oh wait, This makes sense now. It did not click overnight. It clicked after a stupid number of repetitions. And trust me, the day it clicks, you almost laugh because you realize this entire time it was not that you were dumb. You just had not crossed that threshold yet. So if you are forgetting DSA again and again, don't panic. You are not failing. Your brain is just telling you, bro, I haven't seen this enough times yet. And that's fine. That's normal. Stop expecting yourself to remember everything instantly. Stop thinking everyone else is doing it effortlessly. They are not. They have just been at it longer. You want the honest formula? This is it. Learn slowly, revise often, solve regularly, and don't quit when you forget. If you forget, come back. If you forget again, come back again. If it takes 10 times, then do it 10 times. No ego, no comparison, no guilt. This is how people actually master DSA. Not because they are gifted, but because they are stubborn. And the final truth no one will tell you is this: DSA becomes fun only after it stops feeling like memory work. In the beginning, it's frustrating. In the middle, it's exhausting. But once patterns start sticking, it becomes a game. You start seeing connections. You start predicting the approach. You feel smart, not because the problem was easy, but because you have trained yourself enough. That is when DSA starts paying off. So if you are in that messy phase where you keep forgetting, don't worry. This is the phase that creates actual programmers. This is where most people give up. You don't have to. Show up again, study again, solve again, make your brain familiar with the patterns, and slowly, without even realizing, you'll reach a point where forgetting stops.